Welcome back. I'm Levi.
I'm Becky.
And this is the Two Mums podcast. And this is part 2 of episode
4.
Four.
44. Do you know what? I keep speaking like that because I keep listening to Lad Baby podcast.
What, is that how they speak?
She does. 4. She speaks like...
Is she? I thought
Yeah,
it was
you'd like
Yorkshire.
that podcast. She's Southerner.
Is she? Are they both Southern?
He's not Nottingham.
Yeah, I was going to say, you sound like a bit Yorkshire-ish, like Northern. I didn't
Mm.
know she was Southern. All right.
Can't remember whereabouts she's from.
Anyway, how's your birthday plans coming on?
30 days, 30.
You want to tell us what we've been doing?
Levi's done me 30 days of 30, which is a sick idea, where my birthday's on the 6th of July. So for the past month, I've been opening one present a day.
Not quite a month.
Wow.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, within the... Yeah. So if any of you haven't been following it, please follow the Fizzy Friend on TikTok, Levi's TikTok channel, because she's been filming me opening it every day, and my God, you have spoiled me rotten.
Tee-hee.
I can't believe how much you've got me. I'm so grateful, but it's been so exciting every single day opening a present. I've had all sorts. I've had new platform Converse. I've had some jewellery, clothes. I've had some new trainers, gym stuff. I'm going to see Becky Hill. And yeah, I just can't believe how much you've got me. Like, I honestly thought it'd be lots of like little wrap-ups, but apart from my poo emoji toilet roll, I don't think there's many other small presents that you've got me, really, is there?
Yeah, there's one more in there that's not a very expensive one, I think. I can't really remember what any of them are. I got them all like so long ago and wrapped them so long ago.
It's been so hard to just sit and look at them though, like the temptation to open them.
Some of them have been like pretend vouchers, so like some of them were like those types of gift where you got and chose your sunglasses, you did yourself an online shop.
Ray-Bans, that's another thing I got.
So yeah, but just to recap on that, because I'm not actually sure Becky said what 30 days of 30 was there. It's 30 days of 30...
I do a shit example.
30 days of 30 gifts. So the 30 days before your birthday.
Sorry, just opening mini cheddars. There you go.
It's not snack time.
It is. I just had a jack potato. I'm so hungry.
To be fair, you didn't eat it all. The 30 days before your 30th birthday, you start counting down and you get a present each day for 30 days before you turn 30. So you can do it any birthday, I suppose, but we did it 30 days of 30. Yeah, it's been really
It's
good
taken
fun.
so long, I feel like, though. I feel like I've been opening presents for about 100 days.
Well,
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, a month is a long time to get a present every day for a month.
Mm.
Like, I'm surprised that novelty hasn't run out at this point now, but you're getting more and more excited the closer you get to your birthday. I think you've only got like one main present left in there. Maybe 2 main presents left in there. All the rest are all right presents. But like I say, I cannot remember for definite what 2 of them are. I know 1, 2, 3. I know what 3 of them... I know what 5 of them definitely are. And I don't know what 2 of them are. I can't remember what they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you've still got some good ones left to open in there.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. So yeah, that's been fun doing that, hasn't it? So that's why you went on holiday with your mum as well, isn't it? Because that was your birthday present from your mum.
Yeah.
Which was planned quite some time ago. And the reason I went to the theatre with my mum is because for my birthday, Becky had gotten me the tickets to the show. But I didn't know that. So in the background, I'm then planning with Becky's mum the dates for Becky to go on holiday. So I'm saying, yes, she hasn't got anything going on that day, not knowing that Becky was going to surprise me with tickets for my own birthday.
Yeah, because I couldn't put it in my diary because I know that you look at my diary.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't put 3 days, but never mind. At least you got to go with your mum.
Yeah. And then even at my birthday when I got those tickets, I still didn't click that it was the same date. And it was only when Becky then found out about the holiday that she was like, that's the date of the show, you're going to have to go with your mum. So it all worked out anyway. Worked out fine. It was really good. Yeah, so the other big thing in my life that's been going on is I've been diagnosed with ADHD.
Shocker!
I'm sure that's not a big surprise to most of you out there. Yeah, I think we all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
How did you score?
How did you score? How did you get on in your exam? I got 9 out of 10 on one assessment and 10 out of 10 on the other. Yeah, I got so it's hyperactivity and impulsivity I scored 10, and then inattentive and I can't remember the other one, I scored 9. So I've been inattentive and attention I scored 9. I think it's that way around. I've not had the report back yet, so I don't actually know, but she told me there and then. So she said based on that one, and paperwork that my mum provided, and paperwork that Becky had to provide, and my own questionnaire based on how I feel and what I find my difficulties are. She didn't actually have time to look through all of those things beforehand. So the only one she
because it was very fast. It happened very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, she looked at my younger one,
mm-hmm.
and she looked at your one. She hadn't actually looked at my one. She said, I didn't look at it, because it was all done in so much detail.
Right. Okay.
So she said, so what I wanted to do is get your opinion firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And how she was really good with how she did it. She was brilliant with me, and she was able to ask me questions throughout. So we was basically just talking. It was like a conversation, and I was really nervous before and felt absolutely sick, and I was very quiet. I wasn't hardly talking at the beginning, and then she made me feel more comfortable. And then I started chatting away, how rambling. And quite a few times she had to say to me, okay, we're going to just get back on topic then. I'm really sorry to stop you. Yeah, and at the beginning she did say to me, if you go off topic, I'm not doing it because I'm being rude. I'm doing it. It could be an ADHD trait, basically. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to bring you back. She said, because we've only got a limited, it was like a 2-hour assessment. So she kept bringing me back to topic, and then at the end of the assessment, so based off the conversation, she was scoring the questionnaire. So she was redoing the questionnaire that I'd already done myself.
Okay.
So she was doing her version of the questionnaire.
Okay.
So then, based off that questionnaire, and how she was scoring it as I was going along, that's what I scored 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 on.
Didn't at one point she said a question to you, and you was talking that much that you forgot what the question was, and you said,
yeah.
Oh, what was the question? And she laughed and she said, the question was, do you often forget what you're about to say or something?
Yeah. Do you often lose your place in a sentence and find it hard to come back to that point?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, so sometimes I'm talking about something and something would distract me and I'll start doing that, and then I'll go and do something else. And I started the pattern. This is a question I actually wanted to ask you, and I was going to ask you today. And at the same time, I'm going to film it because I'm actually going to put this one on my TikTok channel.
Oh, Levi, I look awful.
It's fine. Just for the TikTok.
Your TikTok's just made for me look.
Much closer to me.
God knows what.
Right, so hi TikTok. We're just filming a podcast at the moment, and there was something I wanted to ask Becky because I'm just talking about this on the podcast. So, is this something that everybody does, or is this an ADHD thing? Okay. So, for example, this morning I got up and I had a mug of coffee on my bedside table from last night, and I remembered to move it. So I was like, great, I've remembered to move it. I'm going to take that downstairs. I made it as far as my bedside table to the TV counter.
I knew you was going to say the TV counter because that is just a positive of everything that you put there.
Okay.
I knew you would get that far. And then you probably forgot about what you did with it.
Right, no, so I put it down
I
and noticed...
our house keys by the TV stand.
Noticed my wedding rings.
Yeah.
Okay, then put my wedding rings on.
Yeah.
And then remembered that I didn't have this ring on my finger. Okay, so I went looking for the other ring. Okay, and then when I went looking for the other ring, one of the kids came and asked me something to check the book bag.
Yeah.
So I checked the book bag. And then the hat was missing. So then I was like, okay, let's go get the hat. So I then walked out of the room and away from it.
This is all because you was moving your mug.
It's all because I was moving my mugs, right. Is that a normal thing that everybody does? Do people do things where you just put things down, get distracted and carry on? Is that an everyday thing, or is that an ADHD thing? Because I don't know. I'm putting it down being like, that must be an ADHD thing, but I don't actually know.
No, I do, but not as much as you. I notice that you do it at every opportunity all day. Whereas that does happen to me, and I'm like, where have I put that now? Because I've just put it down when I was going to do something else, like the washing. I've got the washing out of the washing machine and I've put it in the basket ready to hang, but I've left it there and then I've gone and done something else. So it does definitely happen, but I just noticed with you, it's all the time. That's why you're always losing things, because you're putting it down, you're forgetting about it.
Yeah. Okay, so before we left the house today, when you was like, have you got such thing? And I ran upstairs to get it. I can't remember what it was. I ran upstairs to get the thing, and then, oh no, it wasn't. It was medication. Can't remember. I ran upstairs to get something else, and then I noticed the mugs, and I was like, the mugs. I was moving the mugs downstairs, and then I reminded myself, so I'd entirely forgot about them. So I just didn't know if it was something that you did, but yeah, okay. So that's what I was on a ramble about anyway. So yeah, I wanted to record that just to see if it's an ADHD thing or if it's a Becky thing as well. So that's what I was on a ramble about. So I was explaining that to her, how I do that. And then because I was then explaining that whole scenario of how I do that all the time, I then lost what the question was. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I forgot what the question was. So I was like, please can you repeat the question? And she was like, yeah, it's, in a conversation, do you often lose your place and find it hard to come back to? But she was laughing, she was like kind of having a bit of a joke with me. And I was like, oh yeah, I do that, I'm sorry. And then she was like, don't apologise, never want you to apologise. But the best part about my assessment, and the thing that I was happiest with the assessment, was because we paid privately, and I'll go into that in a second, but because we paid privately, I got to choose my own clinician.
Yeah.
So there was...
That was hard in itself, wasn't it?
Yeah, like really hard. And it's funny because things
It was
like
a bit
this,
of a game. You told me to choose one and then you chose one.
things like this, it's like you're about to go for an ADHD assessment, so you can't focus long enough to actually be able to do these tasks. And I'm sat there and I'm thinking to myself, is this part of the test? It's part of the test that you're able to choose your own person. And like some of the things that she said to me, like one of the things she said was, at the start of the appointment, she said, I need to see your ID. And I went, ID? And she went, yeah. And I'm thinking, you've not pre-told me I needed to bring ID. And I was like, so in my head, I'm thinking, are you testing me? Are you testing me? Are you testing me? And I'm thinking, I don't know where the ID is. And I'm like, okay, just give me a second and I can find that for you. So then I've gone around, kind of rooting around. I've just left the camera on. And then I come back again. And I was like, 1 minute. I will find it. I'm sorry, I didn't know I needed this. And she's like, it's okay, but I still don't know it. Is that part of the test? Did they do that at the beginning?
Well, it's like when they say that they need the forms back with all the thing. I feel like they do that to see how quick you'd send it back, or whether you wait until the last deadline to send it back. Maybe, I don't know.
Because I was still getting emails up until the night before. Can you send your form back? And I was like, give me a chance. I'm trying my best. Yeah. So so she asked for ID anyway. But I got to pick her, and the point of that was because it was private. And we went through like a big long list, and there's about 30 different clinicians you could choose from, like loads from different experiences, different backgrounds with different qualifications. I went for the person that had the most qualifications and the most accredited. So those accredited by different organisations.
Yeah, and she had experience with ADHD in females.
Women. Her speciality, that was her interest. She was interested most in women with ADHD. And she was
lesbian.
Also... Yeah. she was like Asian or...
that doesn't mean she's not a lesbian.
No, of course it doesn't. But it's against their religion, isn't it? So it's less likely that she would be openly lesbian if she was.
She rebelled.
And she was a bit of an older lady, well, not old, but older. Like she had quite a few years' experience. But yeah, I went for one that was most accredited because then obviously when it comes to that being accepted by NHS and being able to get prescriptions and things like that, I wanted to make sure that she was accredited by enough of the bodies that they'd take her serious and take the diagnosis serious. Now, she made me do enough assessments that I couldn't, I don't know what else they would want me to do. They would have to ask me to jump through hoops if they needed more of a proof, because she was asking me every question under the sun. Like they ask you about drug use and everything. Like
really,
even if you was like a drug user or like you was a recreational, because obviously a lot of ADHD people, men and women, have had addictions, and that's a problem that a lot of people have struggled with in that area. Are you supposed to just openly admit that? Yeah, we have actually. I'm a cocaine addict. Like
maybe, I don't know. Like maybe that's what people's coping mechanisms are. Oh yeah, I just get stoned all the time. Make me feel calm. I don't know.
Because at the end of the appointment, when she told me, I got really overwhelmed. And it's funny because we knew, like, of course we all knew, and that's why I paid private, because I knew that was coming. I wouldn't have paid if I wasn't so sure myself. And then when she actually confirmed it, I was really upset, and it was almost like I wanted you to prove me wrong type feeling. I wanted you to actually say to me, no, you're absolutely fine, this is normal. Everybody
that would have
panics.
been so much worse.
Yeah, it would, because you would have wasted the money, but also at the same time...
No, nothing to do with the money, but more so you would literally freak out and be like, what's wrong with me? Why is my brain like this? And you would have actually got really, really stressed about it. Whereas now, I think it is really good, because now we can start looking at medication maybe.
And it gives you a better sense of yourself as a person as well.
Absolutely,
I do get that, because I've never quite understood it, and I've always kind of just coped or masked or copied what other people are doing around me, and I've always known I'm the weird friend. Like everyone's told me I've always been the weird friend. Everyone's always said that my entire life. My uni friends called me Melman, the weird giraffe in the kids film Madagascar. They all called me Melman. That was my name because I was a weird friend. Then it was Sheldon for a while from Big Bang Theory. Hey Arnold when I was at high school. I always had the weird. Like, I was always the weird friend. It's just who I was. I accepted that.
Oh, babe.
I know.
Funny.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm really proud of you anyway, because that's a big thing. That is such a big thing at the age of 32 that you've actually done that for yourself.
Yeah, I'm glad I've done it. I am really.
You've had loads of support from people reaching out as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and quite a lot of people on TikTok have reached out as well and asked how I got there, because the process in itself is so long. So, without going, and I won't go into too much detail, it was picked up for me at age 17, actually as like ASD. I scored quite highly as autism. And they actually said they thought I had Asperger's and I needed to get a formal diagnosis. That never happened for relative reasons. Years down the line, we're then looking at the diagnosis for the children, we're looking at their needs, and that's where you kind of start to go, actually, I see it more now in myself as an adult, because you're not a kid anymore, and you've settled down, your hormones have settled down, you're not just like this giddy child that runs around college at 17, that's like a 6-year-old when you're actually turning 18. you're an adult now and you've still got those tendencies, and it's like, okay, I understand a bit more now. So then you explore it, then you go into the NHS wait list, and then to be told that's between 4 and 6 years long, to then go into the right to choose waiting list, which is supposedly the shorter waiting list. They told me it would be 9 months when the referral was accepted. And that was 9 months for diagnosis and medication. The referral was accepted in November. It's now June. So my 9 months is around now. I've been chasing them saying, when is this going to happen? When is the appointment? I've still not heard anything from you. What's the next steps? To be told that it's minimum another 6 months until I even see anybody. And then it's a 12-month waiting list for titration for medication. So it's at least an 18-month wait. Mm-hmm. And at that point, that's where we was just like, as a family, like, I can't continue to help the children when I haven't addressed my own difficulties.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we went down the route of private,
yeah.
Isn't it? Because,
Definitely.
yeah, something had to give, and was getting to a point where I'm just an emotional wreck. And at the end of
the... Yeah, but so am I, though. Like some people are like, not message me, but like, I can tell they're like, oh gosh, that must be hard, like having 3 neurodiverse children, and obviously you've got ADHD and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm not all innocent in this. I'm an absolute fucking psycho sometimes. Yeah. So I take my hat off to you, because I get really hormonal, and
I think you've got like a hormonal imbalance.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're just a really good team, and I think we work together. We know how to help each other, and that's what's the most important thing. Otherwise, it would be so stressful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's staying in tune with each other's emotions. Definitely. I think keeping that in check and making sure that constantly our cups are full, because if not, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And if one of us is struggling, we're very good at the switcheroo of being like, right, you step in and take over. But my problem is because I'm so hot-headed that you've taken over, and then I don't back down, and I'm still following you around, still nipping at the kids, and I'm still saying, and I'm shouting at people. And I've even come and said to you, I can't manage her anymore. Can you go and take over? She's getting on my nerves. And then I still follow you around shouting. And then I'm back, and I'm back again. And another thing.
Let me have that last word.
And I've thought of something else I didn't say.
Now, sissy.
Are you still listening to me? And it's that. Like, I'm just like, I'm like a fucking dog with a bone sometimes. And afterwards I cry, because I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I not just let you take over? Yeah, but it feels a relief. It does feel really good to know that I'm not just a psycho. That is actually my brain.
You're sweet but a psycho.
I'm sweet but a psycho. Yeah. So that was big news, really, wasn't it?
I was just about to say big news, yeah.
And then the lady at the doctor's, I'll jump into my woman crush of the week, because actually
is that her?
That's actually her at the doctor's.
She was amazing.
Yeah. What was her name? Nita, and she's like the back office coordinator. So when you put in your request to the GP, she's the one that manages all the requests and sends them to the right place. And she's took mine on personally. She's the one that's organised my appointment. It's just for height, weight, blood pressure, and I've got to have some bloods done. But our practice, GP practice, don't like normally or usually do blood tests. But bless her, she's just been really good with me, and like I just had an emotional breakdown.
Yeah, you just broke down crying. So then I was there, I was just like, just tell me the date, just tell me the time, I'll write it in my diary. But I think she could tell that you was worried about it, because they only had appointments for like next week. So she's bumped you to literally tomorrow morning, hasn't she? She didn't have to do that.
No.
Like, she could tell that you was worried and anxious about it. And obviously we need all these results in order to get medication for you. And I think she could see that you were struggling. And she was just a little gem, wasn't she?
Bless her. And she was like, when's your appointment with your consultant? And I was like, Friday. She's like, right, okay, leave it with me a minute. Let me see what I can do. And she gave me next Thursday. So that would have meant that I would have had to rearrange this appointment. And she was just trying to make life easier for me, wasn't she? Yeah. And she was just a sweetheart. She's like, it wasn't old. I'd say probably 50s. Yeah. Yeah, like mum's age. And you could tell she actually wanted to help.
Yeah,
and it's
she
people
did.
like that in life.
Yeah.
Like, when they go into that type of profession, like, you know the reason why they went into that type of profession. They want to help people.
Feel listened to.
And then
cares.
There's other doctors in the profession. You think, why are you doing this job? Like, why are you even here when you don't want to help people? But this woman, Nita, I keep saying Trish. I don't know where Trish has come from. Nita, she's my woman crush of the week. Yeah, because she was a babe. And I wasn't even crying because I was stressed. I was crying because she was being so nice to me.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's just like a lot, and like, even the fact that you walk in there and that there are no issues, and it's like, well, actually, I can get an appointment. Like, I don't have to be pushed back and wait until 8 o'clock the next morning or do all that.
Now, bearing in mind, that I put that request in last Thursday. So I actually did put a request in.
But she has been trying to call you.
And she has been trying to call me, and I kept missing her calls because she gave me a routine. So at first I was a little bit like, oh, Nita's doing my head in, because she said to me, okay, we're going to give you a call back at 2 o'clock, and then she didn't call back at 2 o'clock. So if you've not called back at 2 o'clock, I've now forgot about it and I've moved on to something else.
And every other time is relevant now.
Yeah, and every other time that you now ring me is no longer relevant in my day because I planned for 2 o'clock. And there was other time that she rang and I was doing something else or couldn't answer the phone, or simply my brain just wouldn't let me because I was annoyed at her that she didn't ring at 2 o'clock. So then it never got sorted last week. So then for us to just walk in saying her do it that quickly, now I love her again and she's my new best mate.
Yeah, no, I respect her for that.
Yeah, I do. It was lovely.
Well, my woman crush of the week, let me tell you, is Becky Hill!
That's so exciting.
So for my birthday, Levi's got me tickets to see Becky Hill at Newmarket Races, and I can't flipping wait. Do you know what? The girls have absolutely loved it because I've had the windows down, I've had Becky Hill blaring, because obviously they don't get to do that in your car because you don't like the loud noise. So in my car, they're proper loving it. Like Mila's singing her heart out. It's so cute.
She is a proper little singer.
She's trying to learn the lyrics.
She's got a cute little voice.
Yeah, so I've been really enjoying that, and I'm so excited to go and see it. I think it'd be a really good vibe, and I'm just trying to learn all the songs because I don't know all of them.
Yeah, well, you only know the ones that you hear on the radio, don't you?
Yeah.
So. And I think regardless, so it's at the races, so we go to the races first. So we're going to watch the race in the day.
Which I'm so excited for as well.
And also, I was going to drive. So I was going to drive, and then Becky, because I'm not a big drinker, so I thought, I'd only have a couple of drinks anyway, so what's the point? Like, I may as well save money, I'll drive, put the money that I would have saved on alcohol on the betting on the horses. And then we would have drove home. And then Becky got back from Madrid this weekend and was like, right, we're booking a hotel. I want us to have a drink, and my cousin's going to be there as well.
Yeah, which we didn't even realise. Yeah. But I found just an alright place on Airbnb. So actually, it wasn't that expensive anywhere because hotels, Premier Inn, stuff like that, they're all fully booked anyway. Yeah. Because it's in August, whereas Airbnb has saved the day. Been speaking to Leslie, good old landlord lady. And yeah, buzzing for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, but when I first booked those tickets, the VIP tickets as well, so we're at the finish line where we stand. Yes. And I tried to book a hotel, and the hotel's like £400.
No.
Premier Inn. No. Not joking. Yeah, so expensive.
God, no wonder you bloody didn't book it.
So I said to Kaylee, I said, how did you get a hotel? Should we just split the cost between us?
Yeah, but I even looked at Travelodge. That was £100, so that wasn't even that bad. But it was half an hour away.
Maybe they're like further away. So all the ones that were there in Newmarket, like local to there, I think there's one at the thing. Yeah. That one was like £400 or £379, something like that. And I was like, I can't justify paying that when we got Florida to pay for.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're staying over now, aren't we?
Oh, I'm so
Becky
excited.
Hill's after the racing in the evening.
Yeah, I think she starts at like 9.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. So we need some outfits, but we bought some stuff online, didn't we? I might wear that cream dress that I got online.
Cute.
So you can have a think what you want to wear or order something new.
Cute. That spider looks like a crab.
I've been thinking that. I
It's
don't know if
moving
it's dead.
sideways.
No, I actually think it's dead. I think you're imagining that it's moving
No,
sideways.
I swear I've just seen it move.
I honestly think you've been looking at it so long that you think it's moving. It's been there for days.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just too scared. I need to buy a feather duster. I'm too scared to move it.
You've been saying this.
I know.
For like 2 weeks. Oh, I'm just going to go get a feather duster. That's another thing that you keep saying. I'm just going to go get a feather duster. You'll go to the shop and you will forget to bring it. That's happened so long.
Every time I go, I forget to look and I come home with like a load of other junk.
Do you reckon your mum's just played a prank and just
drawn
coloured it on the wall?
Like, so she keeps
moving the toothpaste around.
Yeah.
Notice.
Mum, if you listen to this, I've noticed you was moving my toothpaste. I have all my high smell toothpaste in colour order in a row on my shelf, and every day there was a different one twisted so that the high smell part wasn't facing out.
Or put the bacon on the top shelf.
Yeah, but then she was telling me she wasn't using the toothpaste. And I go back in and another one had moved. And I'm like, either you've been using it and you're pretending you're not using it, which is weird in itself. Like, why would you pretend? Or you're twisting it and testing me. And it was driving me insane all weekend. No, I kept moving it back thinking, I'm going to tell her. And then I forget to tell her.
Funny.
And then, she put the bacon on the top shelf of my fridge with like my cheese and my yogurts. I'm like, what are you doing?
But she's so particular about fridge organisation as well. So she must have been playing a prank on you.
Yeah, must have. Funny. That's where I've learned it from, the way to organise a fridge. Because she's OCD.
Definitely.
Right, what about your mum moment?
Do you know what, my mum moment? I am obsessed. I texted you this before. I'm obsessed with watching mums surprise their kids with era tickets for Taylor Swift. I can't stop watching it on TikTok. It is the cutest thing. Like, they keep saying, oh, we're at Anfield, we're just going to sit down and listen to the music. Obviously, we couldn't get tickets. And then they just surprise the kids. Have you watched it?
No.
Oh, you're acting like you don't care. You used to be a Swiftie.
Yeah, when I was 18. When I was 22, when I went for my 22nd
To be
birthday.
fair, there are a lot of kids that like Taylor Swift now, but it's so cute. Or actually, no, not even that. Yeah, so them surprising them with era tickets, but also when one of the little girls gets chosen to get the 22 hat.
Yeah, that is cute.
That's the cutest thing, because I keep watching like the choreo and stuff because I know what bit it is. I'm not even a Swiftie, like, but
You obviously are a Swiftie if you're this into it.
no, because I wouldn't want to go to another I've been to one of concerts, so I wouldn't actually want to go to another one, but I just love watching the vibe of it.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't want to go to another one is because we was in the nosebleed seats last time, like up in the gods.
Yeah.
Like, I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, you bought me tickets for my 22nd
I
birthday.
can't believe that.
And I loved it, but the seats were something else. Like,
It was actually in the corner.
There was literally horizontal. Like,
Yeah.
if you stood up, you'd have fell down.
Yeah. Funny. But yeah, that's definitely my mum moment. What's yours?
My mum moment is kind of just slightly jumping back to the ADHD stuff. So this weekend when my mum's been here, we've been talking about like the diagnosis, and we didn't go into a lot of detail. She didn't really ask a lot of questions. But she was telling me like things about when I was a child, and every now and again she would just volunteer this information. So I wasn't asking, wasn't like, oh, tell me more about me as a child, because I've always
because
said
she says
that.
you was a princess as a child.
Oh yeah, she says I was an absolute princess and that I was a people pleaser, and that and I was. I know I was. I've always been a people pleaser, and that's probably one of my own biggest flags. I put everybody else before myself until I run myself into the ground, and that's what the woman said in the assessment. She was like, that is a common trait in women, that you are eager to impress all the time. You get attention by giving to others, and then
Right.
you get that kind of hit from the appraise that you get back, basically. So we're talking about being a people pleaser and things like that, and then we started talking about the kids and the types of tantrums that they have, and she was like, oh gosh, some of your tantrums, and I was like, I tantrumed, and she was like, oh yeah, you tantrumed, and I was like, did I? And she was like, yeah, that you would absolutely tantrum, and you'd get sent to your bedroom, and I'd be like, go away, go to your room, and I'd get sent upstairs to the bedroom, and I'd stand at the bedroom door and slam the door over and over again and shout, can you hear me slamming this door? And then
that's why she's so chill with Lenny doing it, because she's so used to you doing it.
So then she said, but I'd do it for about 10 seconds, and straight away I'd go, I'm sorry now, I'm sorry now, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that, I love you, I'm sorry, do you love me? Do you love me? But then when I wouldn't get the attention, I used to bang my head off the side of my bed. I'm banging my head off the side of my bed, and it really hurts.
Oh, does that sound like?
Yeah, I know. And she said, I did it. And she said, and I did it so long this one time. She said, I've had one major one as a child. She said, I do them like that all the time. She said, and what I'd do is I'd trap my fingers in the door and then come downstairs with marks on my fingers and say, I've just trapped my fingers on the door. And she'd go, well, if you want to trap your own fingers in the door, off you go. And she'd give no attention to it.
And that's like how you are now.
Yeah. Or, like I'd stand at the top of the stairs and throw things down the bottom of the stairs until she'd come out and tell me off for doing it and send me back to my room. Yeah, but I don't remember doing anything. But when she's saying it, I'm thinking, gosh, I actually do. But I remember the big one. I remember when she said I had this blow up once, and my stepdad's name is Gary, and I remember him shouting upstairs, you better shut up or else I'll shout at you as well. And like Papa got like really cross with me, and I was like, oh mummy, please, I'm just so sorry. And it's when we lived not where she lives now, across the road at the old house. And I remember him saying to her, please go and get to stop because I'm going to lose my shit. Like, he was really getting really annoyed with me because I just wouldn't let go, or just kept going on. And I used to have this high bed, and I was stood whacking my head off the side of this high bed. And my mum came up and she's like, pack it in now and calm yourself down. Get yourself ready for bed. Calm down. And instead of calming down, I carried on shouting, like just shouting. And she said I kept going between sorry and angry. And I'd be so sorry then, screaming again and throwing things around my bedroom. So I used to get my books and then like frisbee them across the room so they'd all bounce off all the walls, and then cry because I'd bent my books. So I'd be really upset at myself that I'd bent my books. And she said, and then this one time, this occasion, I went and sat on the stairs and I shouted, bollocks, man! At the top of my head, and just kept saying it over and over again, which was from Alvida Sane Pet, which used to be this programme that was on when I was a kid. And she said, but I never used to think he was watching it. Like she said, I just used to have it on, and he used to be playing, but he used to swear, and that was his catchphrase. He'd go, bollocks, man. And I sat on the stairs and just repeated it over like a parrot for about half an hour until the end. She went, get in bed or I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap, and I shit myself. And I stopped. She said, it was like, I took it all that level to swear, and then eventually got into bed. Yeah. And she's like, you used to have these blow-ups all the time. I was like, so when I said to you, did I used to have meltdowns? You said no. And she was like, well, I didn't want you to use it. And I was like, Mum, you can't do that. You've got to be honest with me. Yeah, so I used to have this, and I used to swear at her. I also once called my auntie Hayley, who lives in Australia, see you next Tuesday. Yeah.
Wow, it's all coming out now.
A fat see you next Tuesday. She came down the stairs in a new dress, and she went, do you like my new dress? And I said, no, you fat, see you next Tuesday. Yeah. And I also had tics.
You little shit.
I had tics
Oh,
as a
what
child.
tics? Vocal tics? Facial tics?
Facial tics as a child. Should I used to do this?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So by the way, this means for anyone that's listening, I used to put my bottom jaw, like force my bottom jaw out, and then like kind of bounce my jaw up and down, and then I also did that.
Oh my
Like crack the
God.
corners of my mouth and then lick the lips. And she said, I've always been a nail biter. And she said, I used to do the thing where I'd flip my fingers like that, and I do still do that now, because that is, I like pull the skin from underneath my
Well,
nails.
you've ended out all right. Maybe your kids will end out all right.
But then she said to me, do you grow out of them? I said, they get worse as a teenager. I said, but you always have them. And if it's like Tourette's, it's always going to be there, and it's bad. But different people are different, because Tourette's is a spectrum, as is autism, as is ADHD. And she was like, oh, right, okay. And I said, why? She said, because you scumple your eyes up as well. I said, what do you mean? She said, you'd still do that now, this. And I was like, I don't do that, do I? She's like, yeah, you've been doing it all weekend.
Ah.
Yeah, which I don't. But then when she said it, the more she said it, the more I was noticing when I was doing it. But I don't know if it's because of the hay fever I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Or whether it is something to do that you've not noticed.
Yeah, because, no, I've not really noticed it, but I think that's because you said that you need to have an eye test. So I've just assumed that maybe you need to have an eye test. But then when you have had your eye test and they've said it's all clear, then maybe it is a tic. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, she said the only thing, and I said, did I have vocal tics? She said the only thing you used to do is clear your throat all the time. Like that. And I still do that. Yeah. But then I was like, that's interesting. No, I'm not going to start exploring Tourette's. I don't think.
No, but it is really interesting that you sound so similar to how the girls are now.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Really crazy?
Maybe that's why you get triggered so much by them.
Probably. Because that was deep rooted.
Yeah.
Because I used to do that.
Subconscious.
Yeah. She said because I was also talking about like how the girls have got no sense of body shame at all. They just walk around naked, like full on just open their legs and say, I'm sore here, and point to it. Like they're no sense of body shame at all. They've got no personal boundaries. She said I was the same until I was about 12. She said, I just used to come downstairs naked. And,
yeah, you sound so similar to Talia, it's mad.
And
she'll be like that.
Yeah, my dad was Gary. My dad was like, God's sake, tell us put some clothes on, because I just used to walk around naked.
Yeah, because it gets to a point, doesn't it, where it's like always inappropriate.
Yeah, when you're about 12, you've got like little nips. Yeah. Like I didn't have boobs at 12, but like I would have been starting to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just used to, and she said, yeah, no sense of shame at all.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was interesting, but she didn't really go into loads of things. But yeah, we spoke about how ADHD is thought to be hereditary.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was like, I think that you've got ADHD. And there's a few things that she said over the weekend, whereas I think she thinks she's got ADHD, but she's just not admitted it or not.
Yeah, she would never explore it. But
I don't think so.
It's interesting that she's coming to terms with that. She might potentially have it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she never, we never really got deep in conversation about it, but it came very lightly, and then we was talking more like around the conversation, so like about being a child, and she just dropped those stories in type thing. So it was interesting that we had those conversations. But I thought, so I did have a bit of character as a child then, because I actually thought that I was just goody two shoes all the time, like just eager to impress. Because I remember plenty of times I was told off by my nan, like I used to freaking steal all the perfumes and make up soups and things in the mud in the back garden and things like that, and I'd get absolutely bollocked and blame Nathan, and he'd get the blame for it. But yeah, it was interesting to hear. So yeah, that's my mum moment. But I've got a secondary one to add on to that. So just on the body shame thing, Mila came home from school last Thursday, and she'd had her time out of class.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. So the person she has time out of class with, I won't say the teacher's name. She had to learn about personal boundaries.
Is this the sensory circuit?
No.
Okay.
The other person.
On every Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she had to learn about personal boundaries because she felt her boob.
No.
Yeah. So she come out and I was like, how was it today?
How did it even happen?
How was your time out of class? Well, she's not contacted me. So the school haven't told me about it. This is just what Mila's told me.
Okay.
And I was like, how was it? Like, did you have some time out of class then? She's like, yeah. Well, we spent time out today. They played some game where she was a princess and the teacher was a monster. And the monster was trying to get her. And Mila said, so I pushed her away, but then I accidentally touched her boob. And when I did that, she told me it was inappropriate. Is that inappropriate? I said, well, did she ask you to do that? And she was like, no.
What, did she like group it?
Well, so she was like, no. And I was like, okay. I said, well, if a grown-up asks you to touch their private parts, then yes, that is very inappropriate. If it's an accident, then no, you just accidentally touched her boob. I was like, it's like sometimes like I might say, oh, turn this way, and I touch your boob. I said, if somebody's like touching your bum, then it's not nicer that you've not asked them to do it. That's private. That's your body parts. You've got to look after your body. And this adult also has to look after their body. So then she was like, oh, okay, well, we had to sit down and do a big talk, and we spoke about our private parts. And,
Oh my God, I bet she was dying.
And that I'm the only person who's allowed to touch my private parts unless I'm in pain, and then my mummy can help or a doctor can help. But other than that, nobody should ever touch my private parts apart from myself. And that you never touch somebody else's private parts without their consent and without their I can't remember what she said. I think she said consent, something like that. She didn't even quite say the word right.
How was she? Was she upset, or was she a bit like?
No, she was nervous to tell me.
Yeah.
She wasn't crying.
Yeah.
She was nervous to tell me, and then was like repeating back what she'd learned. She didn't understand it. She didn't understand what she learned, but was saying the words.
Yeah.
So then when I was talking through and saying, do you know what I mean? She was saying no. She didn't know what any of it meant. So she was obviously so embarrassed in that moment that she was just taking the words thinking, I want to die. But what I think she's done is when the teacher has pretended to be the thing, she's gone like, I don't like it, and then squeezed her boobs and then like go away from me, like trying to get her away. But when I asked her to show me, she stroked.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking unless she's got quite big boobs, because I've got very small boobs. You've got bigger boobs than me.
Well, she feels my boobs.
She's not really seeing anyone who's got like quite big boobs, unless I'm thinking unless she's been a bit curious by it and just kind of. Because she was stroking your boobs the other day, wasn't she? She
strokes my boobs like a comfort thing when she's reading. Like when I'm reading to her at night time, she sits and she kind of strokes. And I'm obviously not naked. Like it's not inappropriate. I've got my pajamas on. She kind of just holds my boob over the top, and that's more like a nurture thing. Like it's like going back to like an infant thing. So I put my hand on top of hers, make it not weird, and then I kind of just move the hand away slowly, or she just cuddles into me and I leave it. But obviously she's either tried to do that to her.
Yeah. And just been rejected by it.
And then been rejected straight away. Or she actually has, in this game that they was playing, she's grabbed as a response because she didn't like the monster or something.
But that's not inappropriate. That's like just next time, let's be careful.
Well, that's what I mean. So that's why I feel like she must have actually gone in for a stroke, and she's trying to make out like it was part of the game, but the teacher's not contacted me.
It is good that she's telling us about it though, because I think if we just kind of keep it as, like you say, an open chat, whereas if she wants to just tell us what's happened, then she'll feel a lot more calmer, I think, and a bit more like there's a lot more trust in it. Whereas I think sometimes if she feels like she can't talk to us about it, then those sessions aren't really useful because she kind of bottles things up. And whereas now that she's told us quite a lot about what she does in those sessions. And then if we do have a review, then we're not going to be as shocked because it's what she told us.
It was more like she was double checking with me that what she'd been. No, it wasn't that. It was more like she was double checking with me that what she'd been told was correct.
Right. Okay.
So she was like, is that right? Like nobody can touch my body. That's my body. I was like, of course that's right. That's your body. It belongs to you. If you don't want people to touch you, don't touch you anywhere on your body, not just your private parts. If you don't want people stroking your arms or touching your face, you say no, thank you. I don't like that. I said that's called a boundary. So we was talking about those things, and like I think she needed that reassurance from me that conversation was appropriate, that she'd had that conversation with her. So she was like, is it okay that I've spoke to my teacher about boobs? So she was all right, she was double checking, which was really mature of her. Yeah. But she was nervous saying it and like worried of what the outcome was. I was like, don't worry about it. I said, if it was an accident, it was an accident. And even if it wasn't an accident, so I tried to be like, even if you did do that, and because you was a bit curious or you just wanted to just see what that felt like, I was like, just don't do it again. Just she's asked you not to do it and expect that next time there's a boundary there. Yeah, but bless her. So I want to say
because it is one-on-one sessions, isn't it?
Yeah. So she will have had to report that's happened to her in that session. Because obviously if not, and as an adult, if then Mila comes home and says I had to talk about boobs and private parts today, so she's going to have had to go to safeguarding and tell them that's happened. But weirdly, safeguarding have then not contacted us to ask us what Mila's version of the story was, or if she's okay type thing. So that was. So I've saved that one to tell you on the podcast because I thought, bless her, I know. When
she gets herself in some sticky situations.
Yeah, when she's 18, that'll be one to tell her. This one time you thought your teacher's boobie in school, and had to go through a privacy lesson.
You could just imagine the curiosity going through her mind, like, I want. Let me have a little group. And
what your boobs feel like?
Excuse me, no, that's inappropriate. She would have crapped herself and be like, okay. Can I do it to my mummy?
But my mummy's boobs are big like yours.
That's funny.
Yeah, bless her. So yeah, there's a few other things to talk about, but none of them are interesting. Yeah.
Who's grounded?
The weather.
You are a nightmare in this weather. Honestly,
I hate this weather.
Been pouring down for months on end, and then when it's nice, you actually can't cope.
No, I don't want it to be nice. I want it to be dry. That's all I want, dry weather.
It is dry, so why is it grounded?
Because the floor's cracking because it's so hot, and so is my skin, and so is my brain. I can't function in this heat.
Well, you need to get a grip because we're going to Florida for 2 weeks, so I can't be dealing with you how you are now.
Well, I'll have to take a spray bottle and keep myself cool.
Yes, you will.
I can't cope in this heat. No way,
I
Jose.
love it.
Who's grounded for you?
Stupid doctor.
Yeah.
The girls' doctor keeps sneakily cancelling their prescriptions, bearing in mind it's repeat prescriptions. Every time we get to the pharmacy, we look like some crazy parents who are trying to keep getting these medicines.
We look like drug dealers. We
Yeah,
look like
we
we're
do.
trying to like get
Because
too
there's
much
3
medication.
different children, all with different medications. Not just one medication, a lot of medication. They know us off by heart now, so every time we go in, they're like, oh, I'm really sorry, your doctor's cancelled it because we're doing titration with a different medication. But he's not told us, so it's just an absolute waste of time. So
Yeah, but he shouldn't be cancelling it because that medication hasn't changed.
and he's not nice. He's horrible.
Yeah.
He's a really like grumpy old man.
Well, he made me cry, didn't he? When I first
Yeah.
went to him and asked him about my diagnosis and how I go about a referral, he was really awful with me. Like, made me feel absolutely like a piece of shite.
I don't.
Like,
I've
he
not
was
even
horrible.
met the man.
He's the one that's got a plait down the back of his
Yeah, I
head.
think you need so.
He's just really not a nice man, and I was like, for what reason are you a doctor? That I'm coming to you with my difficulties, asking you for help and support, and to signpost me where to go next, and I left there crying and putting a formal complaint against him because he was so. It's not even that he just belittled me; he shouted at me.
Yeah. Well,
so-
he's definitely grounded. So now we're going to actually change doctors, aren't we? Because
Not surgeries. We're changing our
just
our
the
GP.
GP,
Yeah. So we've requested a different GP, which I did a long time ago. So that other GP has seen me since, and
Yeah.
Lenny.
Yeah.
So I don't. Maybe I requested her when I
we'll
did
just
it, but
put another request in. But yeah.
Yeah.
Grounded. We're
So-
digging a bit deeper, aren't we?
yeah. So basically, off the back of that with the medications, so I was having a conversation at the weekend, and I worked out the following information. So between our children, we've got 2 with ADHD diagnoses, 1 on the pathway. We've got 2 with sensory processing disorder diagnoses, 1 on the pathway. We've got 2 with developmental coordination disorder diagnosis. We've got 1 with a Tourette's diagnosis with 2 on the pathway for tics. We've got all 3 under speech and language therapy with 1 diagnosed with speech difficulties. We've got all 3 under occupational therapy, 2 of which have physio for the DCD. We've got 2 with, 1 with diagnosed Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and 1 suspected to have the same. And then we've got 1 with Raynaud's because of her circulation difficulties, with the other 2 that I also think need looking into as well. And we've got 3 on autism pathways. Oh, we're also under continence and we're also under sleep, and all 3 wear glasses.
Absolutely.
So yeah, when we worked it out the other day, I was like, Jesus. Like, if you look at that in figures,
And this is why
numbers,
life is so hectic, and it's a lot, because if anybody knows our girls, they are lovely, sweet little girls.
yeah, they can
and
be
they
70% of the time.
Yeah, but they don't necessarily stand out as children with disabilities. Like if you didn't know the ins and outs, then you wouldn't necessarily know. But digging deeper into our family home and our family life, with all of these diagnoses, it is extremely challenging, and life is hard.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that we look after ourselves and we get them the help they need, and us the help that we need, and the support from whether it's home or therapies or support breaks. Do you know what I mean? But that's just an insight into the diagnoses, and
yeah,
actually,
that's just saying the words. That's
Yeah.
not even what that means.
actually
for
living
them.
it is a
Yeah.
completely different thing.
Yeah.
Um,
When you look at it on paper, you go, "Oh, yeah, that's a lot," but it's just, trust me, it's a lot when you are living that every minute of every day. And even when they're not here with you and they're at school, you are at home planning the next appointment, ringing the next doctor, trying to chase medication, trying to figure out results or feedback from a previous report, trying to chase another one under epilepsy for one of them. I didn't put that on there.
yeah, and one's got an EHCP, and the other 2 potentially going on the pathway as well. So that's education.
Yeah, all 3 of them have got SEN status at school, so the children have got a lot of needs, and there's so much behind the scenes that we do when they're not with us that it's difficult. It's really, really, really hard. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that because I do think it's something that a lot of people will be able to associate with, and it would be really nice if people reached out to us and we could talk to people. We don't have a lot of people we can actually talk to about these things that actually get it, and that parents that actually live through this firsthand. We have friends, we have family, we have a support network who constantly remind us that we're doing a good job, constantly remind us that we're good parents, and sometimes it's very hard to remember that when you're in the thick of it, but they don't live it. And as much as we love you guys, we love you, all of you, and your support so much, nobody lives it. So if there's any other parents out there that is living it firsthand and actually gets this and understands what it really truly feels like to raise a child, or 3 children if you've got 3, if you're as crazy as we are, then reach out, say hello. We're more than happy to get to know you, to to moan to each other, to laugh to each other, to cry to each other, because it's difficult. And I'm
Yeah.
sure throughout this podcast we will go into this more.
Yeah, and we want the girls to be involved in, not necessarily the podcast, but YouTube. Like, we're wanting our family life to expand a bit more, aren't we? Like, they're all constantly asking if we can, because we did vlog one time and they did enjoy it,
didn't
yeah. And that Mila's so good at vlogging, bless her. She's well confident.
Mila vlogs to herself in a bedroom, like not to a camera.
Yeah.
It's cute.
So yeah, let us know if you would like to know more about the girls or see more about them, or I don't know, ask us some questions if you want.
Yeah.
Make it a bit more audience friendly on what you want to talk
Audience
about.
interaction.
Yeah. We'll call it showstopper. But actually, it's 7 minutes past 3, and the girls finish school in 7 minutes, so we better get cracking.
Okay, in that case, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Make sure you subscribe and follow along. Once again, this is just an audio podcast this week. You won't find us on YouTube this week. We hope you enjoyed episode 4, parts 1 and 2, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Two Mums Club.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.